Welcome to Horror Madness. I'm Dana.
And I'm Deb.
And guess who our special, beautiful guest stars are tonight?
Hi, I'm Steve Miller, formerly of the Space Cowboy podcast, the host, and sitting next to me.
I'm Brianna. That's it.
She's just Brianna.
Just Brianna.
Just Brie.
Just Brie.
Bree.
If anyone needs to know one of the world's greatest shit posters that have ever lived, Brianna. So I said, very special guest tonight is Steve fucking Miller. He's not the one that you think he is, though. He is the man that I've done a fuck ton of podcasts with, that I love with all my heart and soul. One of my best friends on earth, even though we only talk like once or twice a year at this point. Steve Miller, the fucking midnight Joker cowboy.
Hello, I'm here. Yeah, no, I mean, we did what, like 60 or 70 episodes of that Space Cowboy podcast together?
Probably, and then we also did other podcasts together, even apart from that.
Yeah.
We're talking about Terrifier. This isn't what we're normally... Let's start with that.
Okay.
I think we've decided we're not normally going to break down a movie from beginning to end. And the reason I don't want to do that is Steve Miller's fault. I don't have Steve Miller's memory. And I don't think I'm capable of breaking down a movie moment by moment with 30-second crappy horror movie scenes and stuff. We usually did, like, you know, Marvel stuff and, like, bigger movies, Mission Impossibles. And, like, I think they're a little bit better than horror movies. When you break down a horror movie, like, there are so many little, like, scenes that, like, shouldn't even be there and, like...
Make no sense.
And I'm never going to remember all that. So I think what we're going to do mostly is just have a discussion of a movie. But tonight, with Steve Miller and Brianna, shit poster. Brianna shit poster. Look her up. It's under Brianna shit poster. You'll never find it because you're not good enough to find it. If you could find it, you'd already be on it.
You know, it's funny that you bring up, like, breaking down movies scene by scene and, like, talking about movies that have, like, unnecessary scenes in them. It was yesterday. I had, while we were working, I had Jurassic Park, the original one, on. And Brianna's seen the opening scene of the movie with, like, the Velociraptor getting put into the cage, and then the whole shit with the lawyer going into the cave and talking to the digger guy. She didn't realize that the movie didn't start in Montana with, like, Alan Grant, like, where they're digging up the dinosaur skeleton.
Oh.
She thought that that's where the movie started. She didn't remember seeing the other two scenes. She was like, this is a different one, isn't it?
I completely forgot.
And it made me realize that really in the first Jurassic Park movie, you don't need either one of those first two scenes. You really could just start at the scene with the dinosaur being dug up.
No one remembers those scenes.
Well, it was just
describing them. I didn't remember them.
It's fresh in my head. It was something I had on my TV yesterday.
Also, like, Terrifier is a good one. It does have a beginning, middle, and end.
It does.
But then when you're, like, breaking down Pumpkinhead, which is supposed to be our episode 1 that we still haven't recorded because I can't figure out how to do it because I love it, which is always a problem with podcasts, loving a movie and trying to record an episode about it. There's so many little bullshit fucking scenes that are like, why is this even here? But, like, Terrifier, no. Art's killing motherfuckers. There's some titties and, like, death and, like, it is what it is. Like, it's beginning, middle, and end, pretty much.
Yeah, there were titties upside down in that movie.
Oh. There's so many titties.
Yeah, upside down titties. Like, really nice upside down titties.
Yeah.
So,
Should we start with?
I'm going to start with, I like stories. We go to horror conventions. We're meeting famous people all the time. And I think it's important to, we can't always do this, but this is a situation where I can do this and start with a story of a convention. So our first horror convention we ever went to,
Yeah.
Mad Monster. And like we walk in, Kane Hodder was there. I think there were so many people there. It was wild.
Kane Hodder, Sherilyn
So many
Fenn.
stories from that convention.
Oh God, yeah.
So we like walk in and we're like hanging out and we're like trying to figure out who we're going to get autographs from and who we're going to talk to. And I'm like, there's fucking David Howard Thornton and Damien Leone right there. And Deb was just like, okay, cool. Sherilyn Finn's over there. And I was like, all right, sweet. Let's go talk to Sherilyn Finn and, do that. That'll be cool. And then like later I was like, Deb, can we go get an autograph from fucking David Howard Thornton? And she was like, who? And I was like, the dude who played Art in Terrifier. And she was just like,
I have not.
I don't
seen
know,
Terrifier yet.
Kane Hodder's over there.
I had
And then after the convention, I was like, why did you not want to get autographs from Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton? And she was like, I've never seen Terrifier.
Shit.
I was like, oh, well, fuck, that makes perfect sense. I guess
Yeah,
that's
that explains why you didn't give a shit about it every time I brought it up.
Right. And I was just like, what's happening? What does she have against Damien Leone that, like, she vengefully hates him and won't get his autograph?
we hadn't been together very long, and I was kind of embarrassed.
Yeah, that
Like,
was, like, years and years ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
The
I was
first
like,
horror
aha,
convention.
cool. There's Sherilyn Fenn. Which we had a chance to meet them, and
We didn't.
we didn't.
I mean, shit happens. Yeah. I mean, you win some, you lose some. I mean, there were things that I'm sure that I can't recollect exactly at this moment that I know I've done, especially in like film related land, that are like, well, I wish I would have done that maybe a little differently and I could have played out cooler.
I think
We haven't been to any conventions or anything or met any famous people, I don't think. So,
I mean, I've been to a convention with you guys. That's a fact.
well,
Yes, you too.
I guess that's true.
That's a
That's true.
convention.
So we
But
haven't
like
been to a
that horror
convention in a
convention.
long time, and we haven't been to any horror conventions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And the closest I got to like meeting a celebrity person was like a month ago. I was in LA for work, and I was driving to a camera store. And while I was driving, my buddy in the passenger seat's like, "Hey, isn't that the guy from Sons of Anarchy?" And it was Ron Perlman was driving next to us in his Tesla.
What?
Yeah, we were gonna be like, "Hey, like Ron, like love you, like Sons of Anarchy was great," but like you could tell he was on the phone and he's kind of an old guy, so I didn't want to be like, "Hey, Ron," and all of a sudden, crashes into a tree off the road or something, and didn't want that to happen.
You
Yeah,
know the
definitely not.
singer
Sons
of
of
Run the
Anarchy
Jewels,
was
though,
great.
right?
But can we talk about Beauty and the Beast?
Right. That's where I was. You can't mention Ron Perlman and not. So, growing up as a tiny baby child, my mother was obsessed with the TV show Beauty and the Beast,
Mine too.
which was
And-
like
and-
the most money-saving production in the history of mankind, where they were just like, hey, dude who's never been in anything, you literally look like a fucking beast. Come be in our show. And we've all
Yeah,
loved him since.
I've seen the makeup plenty of times. Never actually saw the show because it's just I think it's just generation right after you.
Yeah, I think they just powdered his nose, though. It's Ron Perlman. I love Ron Perlman.
He's
I'm
also super talented.
not trying to talk too much shit about him. I fucking love
super
him.
talented.
He
Yes. In all regards, it's everything that I've said is all in good fun. Love the
Yes.
man.
Yeah. If I could
Hellboy
ever
was
cast
great.
a movie and like we're billionaires one day, and I'm like, we got $200 million to make a movie. We've got this beast. I'm be like, somebody call Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman as Dana Mahaney.
I'm
I
down
think
with that.
I think one of the first like Ron Perlman things that I recall seeing was Blade 2.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Which-
that was like the first because like he was just it's weird like hit that particular role for whatever reason he just stood out to me
Yeah, well,
for
he's
whatever
a
reason.
outstanding actor,
He
and he
is.
has outstanding looks. And Hellboy, come on, bro.
Oh,
Hellboy,
I mean,
holy shit! No one could have done Hellboy better than him, and that's been literally
is-
proven
that is facts.
For real.
without question. Anyway, we're talking about fucking
Terrifier.
Yeah, we're talking about Terrifier.
Directed by Damien Leone and starring David Howard Thornton.
Sure is. Two guys we could have met, but Deb wouldn't let us. Oh man. So I'm just gonna go off my notes a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So we start off. There's that old school TV. Is it old school TV? It's a beautiful shot. It is a beautiful shot.
I love the eerie TV screen.
And it's like 1 year ago. I think it says 1 year
Yeah.
ago. Even though like that doesn't actually line up in the entire movie because it doesn't say 1 year later at any point.
It
Just
It
says
does.
1 year ago.
It does.
I
It
missed
does.
that.
At the very tail end of the movie, it does say like 1 year later or whatever.
Hmm.
No, I love that scene, and it's like very unsettling. Just like watching the TV inside the TV.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot.
It is.
And then we've
Yeah.
got art getting
I really liked the color that they did with the TV, where they did like the nice like yellow tone mixed with the red, and then the way they
Yes.
kind of like used they used a little bit of like the snow or fuzz on the screen to sort of mask or hide the girl that was initially being shown, and like it was, I don't know, I felt like it set up the tone for like this is what you can expect from this movie.
Mhm.
Like it's not going to be perfect and polished. It's going to be sort of student filmy, but like I feel like the best part about the movie is like this set it up to where like you knew what to expect, and then it remained like consistent as far as the look goes for the rest of the movie.
So
I did.
this was your guys' first experience with anything Terrifier, right? You haven't even watched All
Yes.
Hallows Eve and the originals or anything like that?
I've not watched any of I've not watched any of the most I've seen has been some stuff on social media of art just being art.
I haven't seen 3, but 2?
Oh.
Wow, you're not ready for that. And then there's the prequels.
So let's keep going.
We're going.
We're going.
All right. So then we get faceless chick.
Well, I want to talk about Art getting ready for a second before we even
Oh,
see
okay.
her.
All right.
So, I know Art throws a million red flags, but as a fan, I got so stoked just like watching him get ready, and like he's making his weapons and all through the beginning credits, and I thought it was a really, really great way to like incorporate the credits with the building tension.
So
Yes.
here's the thing, and like we're already at 20-something minutes. Christ. So here's the thing. I'm just gonna go off on a thing. I'm gonna go off on rants. I think that's what I'm best at. I never did
It
that.
is.
I never did that on the Space Cowboy podcast because like Steve was too busy going off on rants, and I never had the opportunity.
Go off on a rant, Dan.
So-
This is your shit.
I'm reading stuff, and people are like, in the first movie, Art is a human that is just killing people. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And like, I read everything on Reddit because, you know, the internet's dead and the only thing that still exists is Reddit, and everyone's an idiot. And especially the guy who tried to defend the fact that Art wasn't a human. This motherfucker loaded up 800 pounds of steel and metal in a trash bag that is apparently the strongest trash bag, and that you could have that shit double bagged for days. Hefty can't handle a trash bag just full of knives and razors and chains.
What a great Hefty commercial, though.
Yeah,
Art
like
the
seriously,
Clown.
they should be like, wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Art the Clown, Art the Clown, Art the Clown, carried around 800 literal pounds in our trash bag with no effort.
That thought did cross my mind when you
Don't
realize
stab
that.
yourself either.
Yeah, when you
Right.
realize that
It
it's
doesn't
full
even
of
poke
weapons,
through.
and you're like, how is he not tearing through bags like 17 times a day?
Right, it's
insane.
There was just nothing but metal, and like there's multiple times he like sits down the bag and you could like hear it clanging and hear all the metal in it. Like
Yeah.
that's not a thing you could do. And I read this whole thing about how his eyes changed throughout. His eyes are black. Like what are you talking about? Like he's
They're not.
superhuman. So this dude was like his biggest thing. I think he had 3 big points on why Art was human, and one was that he's putting on makeup in that first scene. I mean, he's a fucking clown. He's putting on makeup. Even if he didn't need to put on makeup, he's putting on fucking makeup because he's a goddamn clown. Like
I will
it doesn't
say
humanize him.
the eyes. David Howard Thornton acts. It's even in my notes. He has such expressive eyes, and I think that's what gives Art the Clown the weird charm. I don't know. He's brutal and awful and evil, but he has a charm to him, and I think it's mostly in the eyes. So I would disagree with you on black eyes.
I think mouth too. No, but like his eyeballs are like black, and people are like, oh, but his eyeballs changed that. I think they just like didn't have the same contact supplier, and it's a fucking movie.
I mean,
I guess I didn't really pay attention.
I've
to
met
his
some
eyes.
people in my life that you look at their eyes, and their eyes are such like a deep, dark, like brown color that it almost makes them look black. And maybe the makeup and contrast of everything kind of helped amplify that. Maybe he was wearing contacts. I don't know. His eyes were like the whites of his eyes were white as shit.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were. Where is it?
So how about this? How about right there in the beginning, that reporter's a fucking bitch
Yeah, she is.
and gets murdered
She deserves
by someone who's his fucking like demon zombie murderer person who wasn't a murderer.
We don't know that yet.
Because a regular dude. We don't know that yet, but still just some regular ass chick just murdered somebody in the name of a regular human, and that doesn't make any sense.
She
He wasn't a
murdered
regular human.
somebody because she was like,
Yeah,
I
man,
would
fuck
just
that bitch.
fucking kill myself if I had a face
Yeah.
like that.
But then she also spends the entire movie being like the nicest human that ever lived and trying to save everyone.
Trauma's a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like in the beginning where they set that whole thing up with the reporter and then interviewing the victim and then being a bitch about it afterwards and saying, "Oh, if I look like that, I'd just kill myself." Like that chick, just in the way she was behaving, I think classic horror set herself up for like that first initial death.
That's what you get for talking shit.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they brought it full circle in the end, like to like I guess reveal all that, because like in the beginning, in the beginning of the movie, I was kind of taken back where I was like, well, why didn't they show Art? Why didn't Art get the first kill of the movie?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like almost rule breaking in the horror genre in a
Right.
sense. But like as the movie progressed, it continued to do things that surprised me. I mean, there were moments where I was trying to call things that would happen, and then the opposite of that would happen. I was like, okay, but I mean, we can get into that in a little bit.
Anyway, I'm saying she's a demon-possessed fucking monster, and like
But we
I
don't
could
know
have
that
my
yet.
face burn off and have a reporter be a bitch to me, and I'm not just gonna fucking murder her face. Next scene.
Drunk hotties.
Drunk fucking Halloween hotties.
Drunk Halloween hotties.
Slutty scarecrow, slutty skeleton, like Halloween fucking hotties. Also, I found it weird that no one ever says it's Halloween. It's never mentioned that it was Halloween in this movie, ever.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
When?
I think there's like one time.
Oh no.
But like I think they're like
No, we
sitting
watched
in the
last night.
car, like after the tires get slashed, they're like sitting in the car, and I think like while her sister is on the way, she hears like stuff like on the radio.
Oh,
the
it's not a
radio.
Halloween. Also, she's
No, I think they
dressed
do.
like a slutty
they do.
scarecrow.
No, they
You
say the
don't-
whole thing that's like
This is
this
Well,
isn't
the-
a Halloween prank. This is like
Oh yeah.
real.
Yep, that's-
Yeah, and they're like, well, on top of that, they reinforce the Halloween thing when the sister's at her place and the roommate comes home and is like, "Oh, I didn't know you were."
When else does somebody dress like a slutty scarecrow? I mean,
True.
Halloween.
I did yesterday.
You did. You're not supposed to tell people about what happens in our bedroom, babe.
It was Slutty Scarecrow Monday.
Yeah, I like how you checked your watch like it was like part of the calendar.
Yeah, I would have. I don't know what the day is anymore, so I have to make sure what day it was. All right.
So there's drunk hotties, and
drunk
then
hotties.
here comes Art being all Art the Clowny.
Yeah. So
That's the only way to describe it is Art the Clowny.
second point to disprove the idiot on Reddit. Hope he finds me one day and like
He will.
tries to dox me or something.
That.
So like they're all looking at Art and he literally teleports away. They're like looking at him, a human being with nowhere to go. He's not Batman. He didn't just fucking disappear. He had to have like teleported away magically.
He walked around a corner, babe.
There was no corner. You could see the road. There was nowhere for him to go other than teleport the fuck away or become invisible. He couldn't run fast enough from the cut of them looking at him, and then chick looks at the other chick for like a split second and looks back and he's gone. That's teleportation or Batman. That's the only
Run with
possibility.
that 800-pound
And
bag.
Batman has a goddamn fucking grappling hook thing. He fucking Art doesn't.
You don't know what he has in that bag.
Art hook
You
away?
You don't ever see in the bag. There could be a grappling hook.
Maybe.
That is true. I buy that. There could totally be a grappling hook in there. There could be a lot in there that you don't know about. I mean,
I've
we've already.
seen him pull some shit out of that bag.
I mean, yeah, but it just seems wild to me. Like he teleported or became invisible. I felt like for a regular ass human. But then I didn't even think about the Batman relation. I've never seen Batman and Art the Clown in the same room.
Oh.
Right?
That's true.
Right?
That is true.
Maybe Art the Clown is actually just Batman. So
Yeah. Could the DC execs be at something, work at something like big here?
right, or
No.
or maybe Damien is just like, man, one day. There is an
One
Art
day
comic
I'm
book.
gonna
I'm not sure
reveal
who
this.
published it.
Batman versus Art the Clown.
Shh, we're gonna get to that later.
Yeah, when we meet the girls, I think that for me sort of slowed the movie down a little bit just because they were so like I get it, they're drunk, but they are dumb.
So it's Damien Leone's first movie. It's character development. And also I feel like he understood character development and he was also like, it doesn't matter. But like you have to kind of give a fuck that these bitches ever lived before I murder them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It was like
that's sort of
weak character development, but it was character development.
like it being his first movie. I mean, I think I mentioned that earlier. Is that like it was very came off like a very much like a student film, and like so it's sort of like that sort of thing. I didn't go into this movie super critical. Like there were things about it that, like, as a movie snob, I could sit there and be like, this was bad and that was bad, blah blah blah. But it's like when you take back like what this movie is or what it was when it was being made and what it became, like this was just like the start of it. Like they didn't have this huge cult following for Art the Clown that people love so much yet. Like this was just a shot in the dark. The guy got a little budget to make a little movie and he went out and did that. And I think as far as that goes, he did a great job.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. I think he went out to make a gore fest.
And he did that.
And he fucking did that. Where the fuck are we at? All right, so
The diner.
The diner. It's not a diner.
It's a pizza place.
It's a pizza place.
But I think they say diner.
They don't. And then they even get served pizza?
Yeah,
Which
I
is
still
wild.
call it a
Like
diner.
my whole life I had referred to this scene before looking at it critically. I'd referred to it as a diner in the diner scene. It's not. It was called Pizza, Wine, and Liquor?
What? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, that was the name outside. It was Pizza, Wine, and
okay.
Liquor. They clearly had no wine or liquor. So I think this is David Howard Thornton's Oscar moment in the diner here.
That's where I fell in love with Art the Clown.
Yeah, I think that's where everyone fell in love with Art the Clown.
I fell in love with the stupid
staring
murder
and
clown.
the goofy faces and all the craziness that he's doing in there, and it's
They build like
really
a
incredible.
really great tension with the music, and then he has that smile that you're just like,
no.
oh.
And then he starts the staring, and you're like,
Yeah.
what's up with that? But
I just love seeing him go around and do just like normal things. Like he just sees something and it just goes and starts fucking with it because that's what you're supposed to do. But it's almost like he's almost childlike in a way.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
he's a childlike mime from France who's a demonic
Clown.
murderer. I don't even really think he's much of a clown. He's dressed as a clown.
Oh, he does clowny
And
things.
he does do a lot of clowny things, but I feel like I always took it as a demon trying to be a clown.
Oh, yeah.
The things that I really liked in the diner scene was how long they let it go.
Oh, yeah,
How much
yeah,
time they spent.
Letting David just fucking act as shit and do his thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's amazing.
letting him do his thing all the way to the point where he's getting kicked out by the restaurant owner. I think that the fact that they stayed on it for so long helped with the tension building. And I think that like it's crazy because it's like when you think about it, like this movie has a lot of things to love about it. And I think one of the things that it might like have a little bit of work that needs to be done is like the story. Like obviously there's not much to it. And I haven't seen Terrifier 2 or 3, obviously. But
Yeah.
like I think when it comes down to it, I think that like being able to I forgot what I was saying now, but being able to like experience it just at that sort of
The story.
yeah, experience the story at that kind of level where you're getting that kind of tension building from a director, I think is something that like it'd be cool to see him do a bigger project with, you know, anything like if you can build on tension like that, like in horror, it's I think probably easier, but if you can do it in just like a normal movie, you stand the test of time when it comes to filmmaking, I think.
So when we do Terrifier 2, we're bringing Steve and Brianna back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah, I'd be down to do the whole series with you guys. I mean,
me too.
I can say that like even though we haven't reviewed the whole thing, but like this movie is not a movie that I disliked to any extent.
Didn't think it would
I
be
had
for a
fun with
second.
it.
No, it's
Yeah, it is super enjoyable. It's definitely something that I'm going to continue watching the second, the third. Hell, if they do a fourth, I'd probably watch
They will.
that because
It's
like
coming out
it's
in
coming.
2026. It's
Yeah.
already like,
okay, cool.
on the
It's
books.
just for me, it's the character of Art the Clown. Like you guys said, like the scene that made you fall in love with him was like when he shows up there in the diner and he's not saying anything. He's just giving facial expressions and looks. And I think that it's like a really refreshing take on a very menacing villain. And then, like, on top of that, to make the movie feel like, you know what this movie kind of reminded me of in terms of like the look and feel of it was the movie Brawl in Cell Block 99 with Vince Vaughn.
I have not
It's
seen
I
it.
have not either.
so it is a old grindhouse movie, or it's not an old
Right.
grindhouse movie. It's a grindhouse movie that was made in like, I want to say like somewhere in the last 10 years they made this movie where Vince Vaughn plays this dude that basically gets himself thrown in jail to go after the people who like fucked him over. And it just is him in a jail, just basically leveling up, beating the absolute fuck out of every single person he comes across. And it's awesome. But like they do, it's cool in the sense that like it's extra gory for no reason at all. And the gore is all done to look really real. And that's the thing about Terrifier is that a lot of the gore looks real as shit.
Yeah, well,
In
that's
The gore
in
is
Brawl on
amazing.
Cell, yeah, in Brawl on Cell Block 99, the gore looked good, but it also had like this fake factor, like, but still like cool, awesome, like grindhousey kind of action. And that's what this movie felt like to me, just with very, very realistic gore. Like,
They did a great job on the gore in this movie. They really did.
So I think we're at that point too here where they're just like, nah. So we got a little bit of gore so far,
A little.
but
No.
right here at the end of the the chick got murdered. The reporter gets murdered in the beginning.
A little
was
bit.
like
That
our
is, yeah, that's
first introduction to gore, and then I think
comparatively, you can't even call that gore.
yeah, I wouldn't even call that gore. To me, that they pulled that trick, the eye gouging trick they pulled on me in 28 Weeks Later. So it's like,
yeah, sure.
and they did it in Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones really fucked me up with the eye
Game of
gouging
Thrones
shit.
won that shit.
Well, I mean, there's those giallo films with the eye gouging that
Oh,
Dario
we're getting there.
Argento and stuff. It's a little later on in the
Oh,
whole.
we aren't there yet.
So what I was talking about was, I think the end of the diner is where like Damien is like, nah, this shit's gross. Like, yeah, like you said, like, no, there's a kill and it's kind of gory, but it's like not too much. And then they're just like, oh yeah, Art just went and shit all over the fucking bathroom, and somebody's got to clean that shit up. So I want to say in defense of Reddit guy that I'm hating on so hard, I want to say the only thing that Art the Clown has consistently done that is human is that apparently he has irritable bowel syndrome.
Having seen
Yeah.
lots of Terrifier.
Yeah, like he shits in all over shit like a bunch
All
of
the
times. And why
time.
is a demon eating things to produce poop? You know, that's a little.
Demon shit.
That's the most human thing he does. Period. Is shit a bunch. Which is
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
the point of it is just to be like, nah,
Gross.
this shit's gonna be gross. That we're going for gross out here.
yeah, they didn't hold back from being gross because like I didn't know what to expect that he had done in the bathroom, but I was like, what did he do in the bathroom?
Right.
And then when I
right.
saw his name and poop on the wall, I was like, oh,
Oh,
I've worked at a place like that.
Wait till you see other Terrifier movies.
Oh, yeah,
Art the Clown shits
Art-
a lot.
Art shits.
Art shits
Yeah, all right.
so much.
Good.
But that's also part of what takes Terrifier a step up, which I'm not into shitting all over a bathroom, but Art does that a lot. But like, you know, fucking and killing is like every slasher. Jason and everything is like, motherfuckers
Yeah.
are fucking, I have to kill them. But Art's like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
take a shit all over your bathroom and then I'm gonna
I still
kill
gotta
you.
take a shit.
Do you guys remember? I think it was either like Jason X or Freddy versus Jason, where Jason gets put into that like simulator that puts him
X.
on Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And there's the two girls that are like, hey, and they take their shirts off and they're like, how's it going? And they're like basically trying to come on to Jason because
Yeah.
they're like a digital thing.
Yeah.
They cut away, they cut to something else. And then when they come back to Jason in this camp virtual scene, he's got both girls bagged up in their sleeping bags and he's just pounding them on the tree stump.
So that is
I don't remember that at all.
almost
Hilarious.
indisputably the earlier movie, which, sorry, I don't remember exactly which movie it is. Everyone's favorite Jason kill is the sleeping bag kill, where it's just one bitch that he beats to death against the tree in the sleeping bag. And X was like an homage to, he wasn't just beating one bitch to death against a tree, he was beating two bitches to death. Which, is it two chicks or is it a dude and a chick in Jason?
No, it's two chicks.
Yeah,
it's definitely two chicks.
Yeah, that's an homage to Jason's greatest kill ever. That, like, Kane Hodder's favorite kill ever. And
Okay.
yeah, that's like,
so that's some horror shit that I didn't know because I'm not well in tune enough on Jason
yeah,
movies.
I think
to know,
Kane
like,
Hodder was literally like, "Oh, this is a simulation. My favorite Jason kill is the sleeping bag kill. Let's take it up a notch."
Anyway,
so yeah,
back to
we also
Terrifier.
have met the first Jason guy, and he's one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my life. Also, he's the little kid that jumps out of the lake at the very end of the first Friday the 13th and doesn't really count, even though he is the first Jason.
Ari Lehman.
No question. He's the first fucking Jason and a fucking amazing dude that we met.
And plays an amazing guitar.
Yeah. Did Steve Miller, Brianna, shit poster, did you guys know that a keytar can be fucking shredded and shred your face off? Do you guys know what a keytar is?
No, I know what a keytar is.
Yeah.
Oh, Ari Lehman plays a mean keytar. So, waiting on the side of the road to get the tire fixed. I've been that bitch.
Oh. Since I've met you, probably hundreds of times in your life.
No, whose spare tire is on their car and waiting on the side of the road. It is the worst feeling, and you can feel it in that moment in the movie. I was like, oh my God, I know that fucking feeling.
Well, like, this is like kind of a turning point in the movie for me because, like, it sets up for, like, obviously this scene is like the setup scene to get the two girls to split up, right? They haven't really been apart. So they get to a point now where they're finally getting separated, and Tara has to use the bathroom, so she's got to go into this building. And this is where, like, I was like, okay, this is where the blonde girl's gonna get fucked with because of the separation. And Tara, who I thought was, like, at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, this chick is, for lack of, I can't be nice. Her acting wasn't great up to this point in the movie. So I was like, this point. Yeah, what's going on? But then her character decision making as she went into this building to go to the bathroom was just kind of dumb. Like, it's weird because, like, for me, like, the horror movies that I've always watched, generally the villain doesn't win in the end, which, not to, like, Art, I don't think really wins in the end of this one. Sort of. We'll get there.
But you'll get there as you watch the sequel.
At this point in the movie, everything Tara did once she went inside that building was upsetting to me. She gets led down to the bathroom by this guy who's clearly just trying to be helpful. And then when he leaves her there, she's, like, got her friend left outside, and she's worried about this creepy guy that they saw at the diner that she can't stop thinking about. And so what does she do? Takes her sweet ass time. Like,
oh yeah, inspecting the building for no actual reason whatsoever. Could have just left.
Yeah, we get a big long look around this disgusting ass bathroom. And then after she goes to the bathroom, then she starts to explore the building and go in places that she shouldn't go rather than just leaving the fucking building. Like,
also,
what?
I'd rather just pop a squat than pee in some unknown building.
Yeah, with some weirdo that's just bug spraying the building. No.
Also, he was a really nice dude, but I would rather just pop a squat. Like,
also, it's like fake New York. Like, everyone pees on the side of the road.
Just pee on the road.
Go pee. I would have
Yeah,
done that. Deb would have done that. Brianna would.
That's literally what her friend told her to do.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what her friend told her to do. And it's like, I mean, granted, I think Art still would have showed up regardless, but like,
So let's not forget, these are called plot devices, and it's a movie. And if she wouldn't have done that, we would have no movie. If she just peed on the side of the road and her sister came and picked them up, no movie.
No movie.
yeah, I'm not so worried about her peeing on the side of the road as much as I'm worried about the amount of time that she spent. Like, I'm not worried about the what ifs per se. I'm more worried about like the what she actually did, which was go and use the bathroom inside this gross ass building, and then
Not
take.
leave.
Yeah, and then you decide you're not going to leave so long enough to the point where your friend gets like killed / kidnapped. I mean, you don't really know what happens. You just know that Art shows up and she screams after she hears the shit. Which, by the way, they got the news. Whoever was the news team was.
Oh, homie, I got this in my notes.
Like, okay, bring up your notes, because this news team is on fire. They like the kill happened, and then they reported
the cops aren't even. The cops passed them after the radio news story. Somehow these reporters are just like camped outside of this fucking pizzeria, like ready to go, and they're like, "Hello, radio station in 2011." That's not, on an AM radio station. 16. They're not even an FM radio station.
You know what it probably is. You know what I chalk it up to, just to make it okay in my brain, is more than likely the news reporter that got that news story out there is probably just Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Jake is just like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I was already here. I was stalking this place out because I could feel that a news story was going to happen.
Around for weeks.
I do have to say that news report is our first great homage, though. The Craven Halloween store.
Oh yeah. That's the first, which it probably isn't. I think I missed a million.
I probably did. That's the first one I noticed.
Let me just throw this out here real quick, because we'd already talked about this a little bit. She's in the building and everything and leaving her friend alone, but her sister, Victoria, is already on the way. So that's going to leave you out a little bit. She's not quite as worried because, like, they're not just trapped on the side of the road. Her sister
is on the
way. So go with Wes Craven.
This movie is full of great call-outs and homages.
This is when I started noticing the homages.
Me too. The Halloween store, there's an advertisement, and it's the Craven Halloween store. It's a great call-out to Wes Craven, and it happens a few more times in the movie, and it was done perfectly.
There are so many.
And you miss it. The first couple times I watched this movie, I missed it.
Yeah, I definitely missed a bunch of them.
The main actor girl, the brunette, Tara, like, I even asked Steve while we were watching it, I was like, that girl looks like Sydney Campbell from Scream.
Oh, she does. She does.
A lot.
Yeah, and I was like, is that her? I don't think it is. And Steve was like, no, it's not.
No, because she was an elderly lady when she was a beautiful actress.
She was pretty.
Beautiful actress.
I mean, yeah. By comparison, I definitely think that Tara was a lot. I found Tara attractive. I don't find Campbell attractive.
And if I was going to propose to anyone in that movie, it definitely would have been her.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was going somewhere, and it didn't really.
Yeah, they did the scene where Tara takes the ring and throws the ring off of her finger, and I was kind of hoping that would like come back later on.
It didn't.
It didn't.
So I have a theory that
we can't get into it yet.
We can. Also, my phone's about to die, and that's going to be an issue.
We might have to switch phones.
So, I thought that was wild. The faceless chick, pretty sure, maybe she is named. I think in that news report and stuff in the beginning.
She says Victoria.
Does she say Victoria?
She does say Victoria.
So we know how movies are made. They're not made sequentially, and that beginning and that end were probably made later. And I think
Yeah.
him proposing to her and stuff, I think she was supposed to be the faceless chick. And at some point during production, they were like, yeah, nah, it's got to be somebody else.
One of the things I mentioned earlier about the show or about the movie was the fact that it wasn't predictable. When you guys brought up the sister being on her way, when the sister leaves and is like, "Oh, I could stretch my legs, but I gotta take a test in however many hours," blah blah blah, and then she agrees to leave. The first thing I looked at Brianna and said was that the sister wasn't going to be taking that test, and like I was right, but I thought that meant like nail in the coffin for her. She was going to show up and get killed in front of Tara. I wasn't expecting that wasn't going to be the case, and I wasn't expecting what happened to Tara was going to happen.
So, Brianna,
Yeah.
I'm curious, how do you feel that the relationship between Victoria and Tara were while they were growing up? And please elaborate on your feelings about their sister relationship.
What? Excuse me?
So I've got a theory that
You thought about it?
I didn't think about
no, I did not think about it. I was literally just gonna start making shit up and just spewing garbage out of my mouth.
I mean, I have no idea, but like, I mean, they seem fine. Like, I'm an older sister, so I would have done the same thing. I would have come to pick my sister up if she needed my help.
Right.
You would have gotten your face eaten off.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm sorry, guys.
I-
Brianna, you're good. That was my Paul Hart moment.
yeah,
That was the you can't possibly be prepared for this question moment. I'm sorry, Brianna. Had to.
no, it's okay.
Oh, that's not getting edited out either.
No, it's not.
Great.
I love Paul. But that was very spot on questioning.
Yeah.
Oh, baby doll lady.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, what a creepy lady.
She said, "Punctuality is the thief of time, dear." I live by that.
You do.
I literally live by that.
I don't, but it kind of made me think. I was like, I'm so fucking punctual. I'm always early, and all that's ever done is still my time. So many times in my life, I've showed up for shit like stupid early. I just have to sit there and like do nothing for like 15 minutes after I was supposed to be there because it was pointless to be punctual.
So Art tries to kill Tara at one point, right here.
Does he though?
Why does Art hate eyes so much? He tried to gouge out her eyes, and then she wiggled away.
I think Damien Leone just hates fucking eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The focus on eyes in this movie is insane.
Yeah.
There is so much eye shit.
So the eye thing was evident from the beginning, even
Yeah.
because like when they show the girl on the show in the beginning and they reveal her face and how she looks, the one eye that you can see looks all like ghosted or whatever, where you can see the lens looking kind of fogged, and just sort of it just looks like.
Yeah.
And then
A lot of kids say too. That's why she murders people.
was it when the first two kills happen with the two guys with Steve and then the janitor guy, the janitor guy, is he when he gets killed, is there something that happens with his eye, or was I forget how
he stabs them in the eyes, and it kind of looks like the same head, the head they use for the.
So Steve is the owner guy.
And then
he's got his head on the counter that's burning from the inside.
Yeah.
There's flames coming out of his eyes and mouth, and it's actually like pretty fucking cool. We're goring.
goring it up.
Hey, I'm goring over here.
There's nothing wrong with some gratuitous gore. I like the first strike on the janitor where he takes the hand off.
Yes.
It's I liked that, especially with like the the foreshadowing of him bitching about having clean hands and working with the food.
Yeah.
With pooping and bloods and
Pooping.
decapitations and
Everybody
eyeballs. Like
poops.
that's like Damien was just like, no, gore.
I wanted to give you guys like sort of some insight from somebody who, I mean, at one point, Dana, you had seen Terrifier, and Deb, you had not.
Yes.
So
Maybe.
like in that respect, I think Deb, you might be able to relate to this, but like coming from somebody who I watched, it's 2024. The movie's been out for almost 10 years, and I watched the first one for my first time.
Yeah.
So from an outside perspective of like seeing the character, I because like I had seen Art the Clown stuff on social media prior to seeing the movie, and everything that you see, it's a lot of just him being goofy and making the funny faces and everything like that. And I think one of them was even a meme for the part of this year that was pretty popular at one point in time because I saw it a lot. And coming from that outside perspective of not really knowing who the character was prior to that, I knew he was a villain in a horror movie, but he seemed very fun
Yeah.
and did have a certain like charm to him for being evil, where it was like when I first saw it, I don't think I realized at first that it was like a character from a movie. I just thought it was like some like really good makeup that somebody did for like a Halloween
like
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like and just did like this character that can look really really friendly, but also switch the faces and look really really menacing and evil. And that was like what stood out to me is like oh, he's got like a fun side to him. So like as the time went on, the more and more I saw of him, the more and more I was like, okay, I need to see this. What really did it for me, what really solidified me needing to watch these movies was I saw the scene from Terrifier 2 in the costume store.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
with the
But I
flower
didn't see the whole
sunglasses and everything.
Yeah, I saw the shit with the sunglasses, him putting the sunglasses on and the faces he makes and then the googly-eyed sunglasses.
Yeah.
And that was about all of that I saw, and I was like, okay, I need to fucking see these movies because that is hilarious.
He has such a charm and he's so evil, and it's...
So this is the thing me and Deb were talking about earlier. So every slasher, and I think this is kind of what makes art so important. Every slasher, Michael Myers is trying to kill his sister and not whatever she is that day. Jason is killing people that are fucking and doing drugs at Camp Crystal Lake. Freddy Krueger's killing the children of the people that killed him. Like, everyone kind of has a reason and is lined up. I feel like every slasher, we could walk by, the four of us could literally walk by in real life on the street and they wouldn't even look twice at us. But like, Art's gonna murder us. Like, he has no reason to rhyme. He's just murdering motherfuckers.
Although I didn't think he was gonna murder Tara at first. Like,
but he did.
Only after she stabbed him in the foot. Like,
oh, the Evil Dead homage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Evil Dead ankle stab homage that they did there that I thought was great. It wasn't Evil Dead, but like Evil Dead was a little goofy, but it was like, you know, Evil Dead, right?
Yeah, we know Evil Dead. I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed that moment, like how he gets stabbed in the foot, and that was a moment where you could tell, like, oh, he definitely felt that. And then when he's like kind of like recovering from it afterwards, and he whips the bird at her, and it's like she can't even see it; she's just running away. But he still like was like, "Fuck you."
I don't know if someone stabbed me in the foot. That's in my notes. I think someone stabbing me in the foot, the middle finger would be my reaction as well.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you do? Like, you're stabbed in the foot. You were like,
but that was one of those little nods.
Yeah.
That could be called an homage. And I wish Rob Zombie would call Damien Leone.
Been waiting for this all day.
I wish Rob Zombie would call Damien Leone and be like, "Hey man, how do I do an homage?" Because like 99.9% of every movie I've ever made is just a ripoff, and you do homages, and like people love Rob Zombie.
I thought
And
you
I
were
don't
gonna make people
hate-
wait.
I don't hate Rob Zombie, but like, holy fucking Christ, you're just ripping shit the fuck off. It's not an homage if it's 6 minutes of a word by word recreation of exactly what it was in the first fucking movie. An homage is stabbing someone in the ankle. It looks a little bit like fucking Evil Dead, but it's not the exact scene from Evil Dead. An homage
Is
is
Craven
looking-
Halloween store.
looking through the peephole with the light shining on your face exactly like that giallo Italian film with the first fucking eye killed ever, and them not getting stabbed in the eye. An homage is Craven's
Halloween store.
Halloween store and
Sterling's pest control.
Sterling's pest control. That's an homage, not just stealing things from other people.
Talk about her getting sawed in half, which is before.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that bitch gets sawed in half. That's the whole point of this entire movie.
That's
Like, yeah.
So, yeah, there's her friend. She's kidnapped. Tara's kidnapped. He didn't. Also, I want to know, he did not kill Tara right away. He tortured her a little bit. Where did he get injectables?
Well,
I
yeah,
want to
that's-
know where Art the Clown got some.
So it's in the
injectables.
earlier things. In the original Terrifier, he injects. Yeah, not Ninth Circle, but like the original Terrifier. That you guys probably don't even really realize. There's two Terrifiers. One's from 2011 and one's from 2016. But the first one's like a short. No, it's not. It's Ninth Circle.
Yeah.
It's Ninth Circle that came out after the original Terrifier short. And he like drugs that bitch to drag her to Satan and stuff.
Yeah.
But like also like, where'd Art get drugs in a syringe?
I didn't see him prepping that.
He's a supernatural being that doesn't need drugs in a syringe. He could have just drug her? Like, not drugged her, but just like
Dragged
covered her
her.
mouth and dragged her like somewhere.
Yeah, I want to know where he got injectables from.
Pretty unnecessary art.
It looked like he found the syringe because the syringe looked very
Dirty
and fucked up.
Little rusty syringe. Found it on a beach somewhere.
Right, but then like you wouldn't know what the fuck is in it. You wouldn't just pop a bitch you're trying to kill in the fucking neck with it and be like, hope this works.
It did look like a syringe that was big enough to like, I don't know, extract chicken juice from a chicken breast or something.
Yeah, no, it was like
a
a injector where you inject, flavor into meats.
Third kill. And that is one of the most brutal things I've ever seen.
Yeah, what a
And-
terrible way to die.
And
Yeah.
very realistic. Like, it made me wince a lot.
Yeah, they definitely didn't shy away from like the gore of all that. Like they show you a lot.
Yeah.
And like, but like the fact of how they go about like setting it all up where you're like, damn, he's got this bitch hung upside down and she's stripped down to her underwear. And then like when he rips the underwear off, you're like, no, he isn't gonna.
He won't do
And then he
that.
does. You're like the thing that got me of that scene where it was like, holy shit, was the menacing, the turning around, like while he's sawing her friend in half. He like the shot of him turning around and looking back at Tara and smiling at her like, look what I'm doing.
So here's a question. That regular dude, that dude that's not superhuman until the second movie, sawed through a human all the way through all of their bones. So he would both need superhuman strength and superhuman sharpening skills. He was shown sharpening things. Like, he can sharpen shit. You cannot saw through human bone in 10 seconds as a regular ass dude, and I don't think it was ever intended for anyone to think he was a regular ass dude.
He struggled with her head a little bit.
Well, he didn't make it all the way through her head, but he made it all the way through her spine.
Well, that's where, like, I think in certain aspects, certain respects, like that sort of is where, like, you guys want to talk about homages. The one that was blatant to me was this entire movie being like an homage to like a Grindhouse kind of movie.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No,
So
100%.
in certain aspects to that, it's like suspend your disbelief. Like,
Yeah.
we all know that, like, we all know that, but like we all know that fucking Saw couldn't do what it just did in the time frame that it did it in. It would take him
could
forever.
if he was superhuman and not a regular guy.
Oh my gosh.
But like at the same time, it's a suspend your disbelief thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly do not believe that the doctor in the first Saw movie would have sawed through his entire ankle and made it without falling into shock first and like passing out.
Well, for sure, but that wasn't an entire human body from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But it was an ankle.
True, but it was an ankle, and he was a guy doing it to himself,
Yeah,
not
no,
doing it to
fuck
another
that.
person.
I-
But
Right.
my point is suspending your
Mhm.
disbelief. Like using the only comparison there is the actual tool being used, but like some shit, it's like you just gotta look past it. Just enjoy the movie for what it is.
Oh.
And I do. But
Yes.
also, there's not much to talk about shitty horror movies if you're not talking about all the things they did wrong.
That's true. I mean, they did a lot right with this one though.
They did.
They did. They
It
did a
is
lot
shot beautifully, like in the next in the next scene, the contrast of Art the clown and the black and the white in the garage. And he's
There's
sneaking around.
There's a lot of black and white. That was the thing I called, like, when they first walk into the garage that I also kind of wanted to talk about. The garage that seems to be inside a building. There's this big yin and yang symbol, and I was like, was that actually there? Did they put that there to make Art seem like yin and yang? And I'm like, no, there's no yin and yang to Art. He's
charming and evil.
One of the things that so in this scene though, in the garage scene though that you guys mentioned, like this is where they kind of do like a very like at this point in the movie, I mean, we're only halfway through it when this scene happens in the garage, and they do the scene where it almost seems like a finale kind of scene where like you're seeing Tara, like it's crazy because this movie almost feels like two different movies from the first half to the second half.
Yes, and this is where it changes.
Yeah, and this is where like it shifts because this whole movie you've been invested in these two girls where now you've seen one of them get brutally murdered, and now the friend who watched her other friend die is now like going ham on Art, hitting him with the board, telling him to get up and come on and everything, and you're thinking like, damn, this is a scene where like she's gonna get him. This is the scene where the villain gets his comeuppance and then she survives to tell something in the next movie, maybe
the final girl.
Yeah, and I'm thinking at the end, or thinking getting through to this scene, I'm like what the fuck is happening? And the change up is where Art shoots her. She's coming at him and he surprises her with the gun attack.
I think the most unexpected thing I've ever seen in a horror movie ever. It's a slasher. It's just a slasher movie. No slasher uses a gun ever.
No.
And then for him to just pop out a gun and be like, "Oh yeah, fuck you, bam, bam, bam! I just shot you."
Also, like, Tara was
Hey, that's
kind of
great.
shitty before. In that one scene, she turned into such a badass. And Steve was just talking about it a little bit. She was like, "Nah, I'm coming for you, Art." Like, she doesn't run and scream. She's like, "Nah, fuck you, motherfucker."
Yeah, and starts beating the shit out of him with a board, and
And
he's
then-
like, "Oh, You're gonna fucking beat me with a board? Fuck you, bitch, I got a gun.
So I'm always curious as to what he's gonna take out of the bag, even like in the second movie. Like, what's he gonna get out of the bag? I never thought it was gonna be a fucking gun.
No one uses a gun. Like,
it's less hands-on than his normal kills.
I think
less brutal.
It's like Steve was saying, with it doing shit that you couldn't possibly be expecting. I think that's the point of the gun, is like, it hasn't really been done.
No, he just
no
pulls
slasher
out
has
a
ever
fucking
just
gun.
been like, yeah, nah, bitch, I got a gun in my sock and now you're dead.
He pulls out a gun and reloads it out of the bag.
No, he goes and disappears and gets more bullets and comes back. I don't know where his bag was. Yeah,
it shows that he walks into another room.
I thought that was hilarious that she survives the shot because she took the bullet to the cheek. He has to go get more bullets because he shot her 3 times and ran out of bullets.
Yeah,
and then has to go get more. And he does, and this was like the unexpected, because I was like, when she got shot, when he pointed the gun at her head and shot her the first time, I was like, damn, like they just killed off the main character, and then they come back and she's still alive, and it's like, okay, there's still, I guess, hope for her. I don't know how you redeem yourself after getting shot in the face, but okay. And he goes and he reloads the gun, sends the text to the sister, and then comes back out and fucking he shoots her the once, just crown of the head. And I was like, damn, okay, that's done deal then.
yeah.
But then to have the 5 additional blah 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 all in her face, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No slasher killer has ever just like shot somebody in the fucking face ever.
No.
Yeah, let alone to just unload a fucking clip into their face and turn their head into Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
That's why Terrifier is so important and so impactful. And even if everything's not perfect and anybody wants to argue about it, another 10 years from now, Art the Clown is going to be on the Mount Rushmore of fucking slashers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's going to be one that people talk about. We're going to get to a point where we're going to have, like, Terrifier 11, and we're going to be like, okay, this is a beat dead horse. Stop it.
Well, so I think that is one of the best things about the Terrifier series and Damien Leone and stuff, is that, So, that always happened because people let go of their IPs. Like, people had control of Jason and Leatherface, and they all were like, oh, you're going to give me $100,000 for everything about this movie and then go make 10 more shit movies that nobody should have ever seen? And everybody was like, yeah, I'm cashing in right now. And Damien Leone's not going to do that.
You can tell he really loves horror.
Yeah, he could do that-ish, but he's going to be like, paint him red or something. Like, that's got to be in the contract.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that. I mean, I've seen a couple interviews with Damien Leone over the last couple weeks, and especially with, interest in the movie coming up, with the Terrifier 3 coming out soon and everything, so, the interest is there. And yeah, you can definitely tell that the guy has a strong passion for horror. And I mean, it would be cool, I guess, to see if they were to continue making Terrifier movies like that, where they just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going, that he continues to be the one to make them.
So his current plan is that Terrifier 4 comes out in 2026, and that's the last one.
Okay.
Not on a high note. So the baby doll lady is so nice to Art, but why did Art cut her tits off?
Because Art cuts tits off.
Yeah, when it was funny seeing, because when that scene unfolds and you come in and it seems like the doll lady on the ground naked, kind of crawling for whatever, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you see her body and you're like, wait, seriously, what the hell is going on? And then it's Art butt ass naked, just he's wearing her tits wearing
Buffalo
like
Bill
her.
homage.
Yeah, like
Also,
he's wearing her
sister's
tips,
there
wearing
now.
her hair. He's also got her vagina skin like taped over his.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
yeah, it is so menacing and so just like what the absolute fuck.
It's
I
one of
love how
the
he's just
only
walking
jump
around like
scares.
flipping the hair.
I said, nice homage to all our favorite skin-wearing slashers.
So I think that was one of the few jump scares in the movie, is where Sister Vic, one of the main characters in the entire franchise, who in this movie isn't shit really.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my God, who's this dead lady? This is my sister." And then she's like, "Oh fuck me, no, that's my sister." And then Art's like, "Nah, bitch, I'm wearing that lady's skin. I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, that was pretty. I mean, I guess
A
it
little
was.
bit of a Saw homage also that happened there on top of Buffalo Bill, and all the homages on homages was like, you're not expecting that dead lady to stand up and not be the dead lady like the first Saw movie, where you're not
Oh.
expecting
Yeah,
Tobin Bell to stand up and be the guy who was in the middle of the room dead the whole time.
yeah, that's true. That is a little homage there. I never even like really thought of that.
A perfectly done homage.
So I want to talk about one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Oh yeah. We're not just
So
thinking
Dana
right now.
didn't think this scene existed. Art riding the tricycle. I don't know. It makes me giggle. He's like riding it and smiling and laughing quietly.
Another
I love
Saw
it.
reference.
Yep.
Another Saw homage.
It is definitely a little nod, and I love it.
It's a great little scene. He kind
It
of wheels in, goes around in a couple circles, wheels out. Like it's a
I
perfect
lo-
little setup.
So, she squeezes through that warehouse door. That skinny ass David Howard Thornton could clearly fit
Where he's
through.
honking the fucking horn and shit.
Yeah,
that was-
why did he not? Why did he get in the truck and barrel through the door?
He didn't
when-
have to, because he's superhuman. He could have just walked through the door and killed that bitch. And he was like,
She's
"Yeah, I'm
like,
gonna do
I
this
am gonna
better."
struggle to fit through this crack in the door that this skinny ass clown can clearly fit through. That has a gap of like a foot. But yeah, so Art, we think he kills her, and he starts eating her face. Eating her face.
Oh, you're
Eating
missing one
it.
of my two favorite.
Oh,
Missing two of my favorite.
okay. So talk about it.
things in the
I
fucking
was-
movie. So Art is choking her with a plastic bag and
Yes.
trying to suffocate her.
Mhm.
And the plastic bag breaks, and he's just like, "What the fuck? That bitch broke my plastic bag with her face I was trying to kill her with." And that was one of my two favorite moments in the
Yeah.
movie, was just like his facial expressions and his like shock when the plastic bag breaks.
Yeah.
And then his like anger at the plastic bag for breaking. And he's just like, "I'm trying to kill her. Why are you gonna break on me?"
Right. Yeah, I love that. How he looks at it angry, like, what the fuck, why'd you break? But also confused as to, like, why the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
He's
And
like,
it's like,
"Fuck
bro,
you,
like-
plastic bag."
Yeah. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, she had her hands. It took her way longer to break that bag open, though, than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Art seemed genuinely shocked that she didn't die before it broke. And I thought that was like pretty cool.
I do want to note that my favorite kill in the entire movie is the pest control guy that shows up.
Yeah,
Number one.
the stab
where
in the
he-
top of the head and then the decapitation.
Yeah, like that was. I thought that was so good.
It was
Yeah.
so good. It was super
Like,
good.
as far as like on-screen beheadings go, like that was really well done. Like, not a lot of that looked fake.
And he also stopped and like watched the blood squirt out and was like super amused by it. He was like,
Yeah.
like he was shooting a water gun or one of those like flowers that clowns have that squirts water. And he was like,
Yeah. Yeah, he's like having fun with it. Like the point of him having fun, I think, is what really makes it kind of scary.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's what makes everyone love it, and that's why it's such a thing.
It's
So
fine.
when Art shoots himself, does he know he's not gonna die?
So, I think this is my biggest sticking point with the fucking fucktard from Reddit. And he was like, Art could tell that he couldn't take those 2 police officers, so he killed himself. And I'm like, no, look at his face.
He knew he wasn't gonna die.
He made the, oh my God, these idiots think they're about to kill me.
He
Who
rolled
was like,
his
I'm
eyes.
fucked. Yeah, he rolled his eyes and was like, oh, these idiots think they got me. And then Art controls electricity and stuff in a couple minutes because he's clearly not a fucking human.
Yeah.
I loved that scene though at the corners where.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I need to. I think this is maybe where we have the conversation of is he or isn't he?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I want to start this by saying, given the homage factor to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, like going back to the beginning of this movie, going back to one of the first things that you discredited was him putting on makeup.
Yeah. That
Now,
was Reddit dude.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the
Discredited.
Reddit guy was like, if he was supernatural, why would he have to put the makeup on? Why would he not already be Art the Clown?
Right.
That's point A.
Okay.
Point B, C, and D
Oh my God.
is Art is definitely able to be injured in this movie. He's stabbed in the foot, and that clearly hurts him. And
Or is he just faking it to fuck with people?
Or he's just mad that the bitch he proposed to stabbed him in the foot.
Maybe. But she also stabs him in the back shortly after that, to which, if you look later on in the movie, you can see that he bled from that spot.
Yeah.
And he was stabbed, like, up in the top, like, shoulder blade area. Like, I've seen plenty of movies where people get stabbed in that area and are able to carry on about their day just fine. Then him shooting himself and dying and then coming back. So what's to say, though, that he didn't have some sort of thing where, like, because, like, the big thing in Child's Play is that fucking dude was involved with, like, voodoo and that kind of thing. So what's to say that it's not, like, one of the secrets that they let out from the first movie was that before the events of the first movie took place, he did some sort of voodoo shit that he knew if he killed himself in the end, he would come back as a supernatural being.
So I think that is kind of addressed. I think that is specifically addressed, actually. Exactly what you're saying, which I'm like good on you. Like, yeah. Ish. You're not that far off. You're not that far off at all.
I also have a smoking gun. Me and Brianna, we were watching like a video podcast that had, was it the guy that
David Howard Thornton? Yeah,
it had David Howard Thornton in it, and they asked him when does his being become supernatural? And he says that it's at the end of the first movie after he dies. That's when it becomes supernatural, but he was a living being before then.
Yeah.
That is the lore that I have read.
So same, but also that like doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm
how
telling you,
a lot of times, you were the one that said it yourself that the story didn't make sense.
A lot of times, even with horror movies, they become what they are because of the fans.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that because like I've also been on the other end of it where I've like I myself and I've seen other creators admit to it where it's like people will watch something that you make and that you were just like, yeah, I just did this shot or did that because I thought it was cool or appealing or I like that shot.
I'm going to say, I think that's a beautiful thing about horror or movies in general I view it mostly as horror because even in like my film classes, they've talked about like the social commentaries behind horror, and I think it's what the fans and the people latch onto and see in it and can relate to, and it makes it so wonderful because also everybody relates to it differently.
It's what makes all art wonderful.
Yes.
It is. It's always the viewer's interpretation of what the original artist was trying to portray. And the original artist doesn't ever need to say what he was trying to portray. And even when they do, a lot of times everybody disagrees with them.
Yeah, people just make up what they want to believe. Overall, I will say I liked the movie a lot. I think it was not what maybe as the first movie, maybe not exactly what I hoped for, but I know that the lore that has been created around this character, like that the future movies will give me what I want. I'm really glad that you guys invited me. I'm glad that you guys are doing this because I've missed podcasting. I just don't have the time to show run.
Well, we hope to have you guys back, and
thank you guys so much for being
here.